So you can say whatever you want.
I'm about to go on gag order when y'all ask her questions, and I will just write down if I have anything to say. But if I don't agree, that's too bad for me. So
all you can do is smile and nod.
All right, y'all. Here goes. Mason shuts up.
Sounds like our relationship.
Oh!
We're Threezus, there's three of us. We're weird as fuck and that's our deal. This could go anywhere, so buckle up and Threezus take the wheel.
Hey, pretty lady.
Hey, pretty lady.
Hey, pretty lady.
It's the Threezus podcast.
And you're a lady. Definitely.
If you're a male, turn this off.
If you're a lady, please stay.
Please turn the volume all the way up.
So you can hear.
What if I'm a dog?
All right, y'all. It's the Threezus podcast.
How's it going, everybody?
As you
Hi.
can see,
we are in a different set. Well, if you're listening, you can't tell.
that's
but,
right.
Yeah.
They may be able to hear.
I
able to
immediately
hear
forgot
that
this is audio.
Yeah,
primarily.
so we're in a less sound treated room because we were in Mason and Daniel's living room.
The Threezus house.
The Threezus house. It's like the hype house. It's like the Team 10 house.
Yup.
But it's three of us.
But it's like about 2% as valuable.
yeah, it's pretty pricey. It's not in the hills. The rent is reasonable. Yeah. So we are coming at you from quarantine time.
Which is why the intro is so fucking weird, because we've all been cooped up in a cage and we're like, we think everything is funny right now.
To be honest, this is my first human interaction for real in maybe 2 weeks.
I touched
too.
Danny and he twitched and cried.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
He's actually still crying a little bit right now.
my tears are still streaming down my face. Yeah. It's
Down
been
your face.
Okay.
Yeah. So, this is, I mean, things are going to be a little bit different for a little while, just entirely because obviously we actually record these podcasts normally at a house.
At a studio, yeah.
A studio, yes.
Yeah.
And that is shut down for recording as of right now.
And I also wanted to lead in like early on and just say that, so in the future, you'll see some episodes that were pre-recorded like a while ago in that studio space, including the last one that had come out, which as I was watching, I realized we didn't mention that it's pre-recorded, and episode 2 came out like pretty recently, or like, no, sorry. Episode 2 came out well into the like stay at home order.
Yeah.
And the first thing I say is, so I was just on an airplane, and then I got off the airplane, and I got in a car with a stranger.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
after
I touched everything.
And ate Cheetos.
And the worst thing about it was I didn't have Cheetos yet.
Yeah. Wait, so you also are, this isn't so nitpicky, but I think you said Cheez-Its and Cheetos, and I couldn't tell which one. Was it Cheez-Its or Cheetos?
It was Cheetos.
Okay, you
Does
said
it
Cheez-Its at one
really
point.
matter?
No, it's not, but I'm just being a little bitch.
So just in case those of you at home were wondering, is Mason just giving the finger to everyone who's worried about this public health crisis?
Yeah.
The answer is no. That was filmed like over a month before.
Stay home.
Yeah.
So we're
I think
at
it was
home.
in February that we filmed that or something like that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Sometime in
we
February.
are socially isolating. Please don't think I'm a rebel. I'm not a rebel.
Yeah. Is Uber and Lyft, are they even a thing right now?
I don't know.
I mean, probably.
to be totally
Okay.
honest, like there's a lot of outside world stuff that I have not been keeping up with at all, and it's
Yeah.
actually quite surreal. Like I really don't know what's going on outside my house.
Yeah.
I went on a walk recently, and it felt like this huge adventure. And then Daniel, what did you have me do recently?
What? Oh yeah, I wanted Mason to learn how to skateboard.
It's
specifically
terrifying.
longboard.
Ooh.
He wants me to
Just
long
down the
I
street.
mean,
okay,
it's
yeah.
like you kind of got
Longboarding's
the
less
hang of
scary.
it.
Yeah.
I had to. It was actually really cute. Probably I had to hold Daniel's arms and wrists. As
Yeah,
I was like,
it was like a first date.
It was like a first date.
First day,
Yeah.
like a dad teaching his son.
It was super cute.
No, not first date with a dad and his son. Very
Those are two-
bad,
those are completely
bad
different.
Too many
daddy.
hours at home. Too many hours
Okay,
alone.
yeah. I don't know how to talk to humans anymore.
Well, speaking
I
of
forgot.
being in quarantine, we all had very excited and fun and like great things happen to us, right? You guys?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, I actually wrote down a prompt I wanted to ask you guys, and I titled it "Quarantine Low Points."
So the opposite of what Daniel said.
Oh, okay, yeah, that works too. I'm fine with that.
Do any of you have any
Yeah.
like trivial low points where you're just like, oh my god, I've been too alone for too long?
Well, mine's more of like I spent 2 hours with our friend Jake and our friend Jay trying to figure out if we could screen share both Jay, our producers. We had like a session basically, and we were trying to screen share his session as well as the audio from it.
Okay.
So we had to find a bunch of like third-party plugins, and basically this is our entire solution to not meeting up in person. And we spent 2 hours doing it, only to find that the audio finally would go through to us, but it sounded like shit.
Okay, so you just spent like 2 hours fumbling with like different like
and realized
Skype
it just
things.
wasn't going to work out. But ultimately, we thought we were going to change the game, but we didn't.
That's fun.
Daniel, do you have any quarantine
Well,
low points?
mine isn't like specifically quarantine related, but like it is because of the quarantine. So I recently don't have a job.
Oh.
So that's great. And so I was looking for jobs and I got this job interview and I was like, great interview. The interview was literally just listening to a guy talk about how great this company is and how he was just going to dodge the fact that he's not going to pay us anything. He's like, it's a great company. You get like $1,000 weekly advance, but then you can like get a percentage of each customer that you bring in. And everybody's just like, what is a weekly advance? Like, does that mean that I somehow can't keep that money at all? So like, needless to say, I don't think I'm going to be doing that. Cause
it sounds like he thinks the privilege of working there is payment enough.
Yeah.
Also, at the very beginning, he was like, "This is not multi-level marketing. We're not a pyramid scheme."
Yeah.
I was like, "That's a great way to
terrible
start."
sign. Yeah. My quarantine low point is that I ordered a bunch of expensive things off of Amazon right before I learned that no one's going to be making any money in any form for the rest of the year, which is great timing. And one of the important pieces of equipment that I had bought for my computer desk it came, right? And then there was like an Amazon guy who knocked on the door and like handed it off. And
I remember that.
It was just an empty bag.
No, yeah, I remember. Like he knocked at the door. I was like picking up things, and like the first thing was the package, and I was like, this must be empty. But I mean, I don't know. There's something in it, right? So I just handed it over to Mason.
And I was like feeling really dumb, I guess. And I was like, thanks. And like I was like, it is weird that it's an empty plastic bag, but like maybe I did order that off Amazon.
I don't remember ordering air.
Yeah. So it was like one of those like plastic bag envelopes that has like bubble wrap lined on the inside, and it was just already open. It was kind of torn up at the top, so you could see that someone like ripped it open, and there was nothing inside it. And so I had to try to report it stolen, and I learned that I spent like a whole goddamn day on this. Like I basically I couldn't, because you can't report it stolen in that fashion because the delivery guy checked off that he had directly handed it to me.
Yeah.
Patted himself on the back for doing a job well done. Then that sealed off my order as something I can't report stolen.
Like
now.
Amazon does not even make it an option to report it as stolen because it was like handed straight to you.
So I had, right. So that basically my order said that I had received it confirmed as successfully delivered by the...
What was it supposed to be?
It was supposed to be like one of those USB-C hubs for your computer to create more outlets, because I now have a Mac computer, which means it has no holes in it.
And then,
and like,
why do you need holes, Mason?
Oh, quarantine's a lonely time. Anyway,
so but then they were like, oh, you can return it.
It's supposed to be an adapter, Danny, where you plug in, like you have a USB.
USB.
Our college, yeah.
Ole, ole, gauchos.
I can already tell this quarantine episode is like super weird. Especially considering that came from a failed joke I was trying to make. I was gonna say that like it was really frustrating because Amazon lets you report items when they're stolen if the if the Amazon delivery guy kind of like fire station baby style, like puts your package on your doorstep and just leaves and abandons it, because then
am I missing something with fire station
so you
baby?
can leave your baby at the fire station and they will...
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
That's like a free service that they provide?
Absolutely. It's like a cool feature.
Yeah. They
Dope.
give your baby a tour of like the fire station and bring them on fire missions. Fire missions.
Fire missions.
No, like
that's what firemen do.
If you well, it's not like if you don't want the... I don't know. There's like an intricacy to it.
Anyways.
So basically, because and then Daniel pointed out, like, of course there isn't like a website like button you can press that just says this is what happened to my package, because what must have happened was someone in the actual chain of command at Amazon stole it. Like this must have been stolen by someone involved in the shipping process, as opposed to just a random dude off the street.
Yeah.
And they don't want a button on their website acknowledging that happens all the time. So
Press this if we messed up.
Press this if we stole your item. Like instead of like report your item lost or stolen, it's like report it if we took it from you.
Who stole your item? Amazon.
You motherfuckers.
So that was my low point.
Yeah. Hell yeah. This episode is well, already it is fun and different because we were sound like we're on drugs.
What? Wait, what? Are you guys on drugs?
No, sound like
Smell like.
But no, this one's extra fun because we've got our first guest.
Ooh.
We're gonna go
Remotely, of course.
Yes,
Remotely,
yes.
of
And
course.
this guest is you.
What?
What?
You're our special guest.
Well, you're always here. This is So the special guest is a very fun one. Her name is Mel Weisberger.
She's super funny. She's an improviser. She's a comedian, and we're gonna ask her about her job also because I personally don't understand it very well.
Oh yeah.
What's another thing about?
Arguably the most fun thing for us is that Mel is Mason's ex-girlfriend.
She is.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
So we're gonna give her a call, and she's
Yeah.
awesome. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna give her a call right now, and we're gonna see if she's just like there and ready. It's Mel.
It's Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Hi, Mel.
Hi.
Hello, everyone.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
Oh my
Greetings
gosh,
from the other
course.
side of the planet.
Yeah, it's our
Yeah,
you're
we're
our
in
very
China
first
now.
special guest on the Threezus podcast. At risk of getting a response that makes us feel bad, how does it feel?
Oh, wow. You know, it's really special. I'm
Thank you.
extremely flattered and humbled at the same time.
Awesome.
Cool.
Wow, that was so nice.
You sound
appreciate
shocked,
that.
which is not nice.
Yeah. That's true.
So Mel, thanks so much for joining us. What is one thing you'd like our audience to know about you?
Ooh.
One thing you should know about me is that I'm very nice, even though Mason made it seem like that's not true.
Ooh.
And furthermore, I am a member of Script Not Found.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yes.
So Script Not Found is our improv comedy show, and Mel is one of our absolutely fantastic cast members. And we're very excited to have her on.
Yes.
Mel, I wanted to open up with kind of a warm-up question for you. Can you
Okay.
please explain your job to the three of us as though we are idiot 5-year-olds who have no idea how any of this works?
Yeah, okay. So you know how important people need help?
They do need help.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I help important people, and you know how when you watch TV, sometimes it's good?
Yeah. Sometimes it is good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Important people make that good TV, and I help those important people make good TV.
Thanks, Mel.
Wow.
Okay, you're a good TV.
Yeah.
Got it.
You're a good TV. Yeah.
Daniel
I'm a
gets
good
it.
TV.
Yeah. Wow. That was actually. I mean, yeah.
That was awesome. Yes.
Yeah.
I have fewer questions than I thought I would after that.
That's great. That's great. Yeah. So the fun. I mean, like, so we met Mel back in college. We all went to the same university.
Yeah.
We actually literally sang "Ole Ole Ole" earlier for some reason.
Because
Oh,
we're weird
that's
and
adorable.
we all have quarantine energy, so we're like, let's do stupid shit.
Mason meant to say USB-C, but he said UCSB. And then
I mean, that's fair though.
That's fair. Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
then we Olayed, and then but we all met Mel because Mel was on the improv team also in college with Mason. And we met Mel. I actually remember the first time I ever figured out who Mel was because Mason hired us for what is called a brothergram.
Yeah.
A brothergram is
Yes.
essentially it's we were in the all guys group.
Yeah.
And we would get paid to go and sing to people, serenade them, if you will. And but every member of our group got one for free every single year.
Yeah.
And we would use that for our own, like who we want to personally serenade. And Mason was teaching a workshop. He's
Yeah.
looking at me. He's looking at me
this is all true. I can't
Mason
even
was
deny
teaching
this.
a workshop for the improv team that he was on, and Mel was currently in the workshop. And we we went and sang to Mel, and none of us really knew who Mel was at the time, but it was your birthday, I think.
So Mel got a birthday a cappella serenade.
Yeah.
And that's how Danny met
For
Mel.
my 18th birthday.
Woo! Jeez, man. It's been a
Sweet
while.
18.
For what it's worth, I was like 19, so it's not like I was being weird. Didn't one of our members barf right before singing to Mel? I think I know this to be true.
That sounds about right.
Do you remember? Well, I don't know.
It was but we won't keep that.
Wow,
name.
just name dropping. Yeah.
You would know.
We can bleep it.
Yeah,
I want to keep I want to keep the sentiment in there.
Yeah. He had been like drinking till like 5 a.m. like right before that morning like session, and then he was one of the people who was like gonna sing, and he actually like puked in a trash can right before, like seconds before entering the room to sing to Mel.
Okay, I'm ready.
Wait, Mel, do you remember that, or was that like a?
Does she remember him puking before?
No, but like that as like a thing that happened right beforehand.
Oh.
Or is this news to you?
I think maybe Mason might have told me. I think I actually have a picture from that day still, and if I do, I'll send it to you.
And he has like a little bit of, a little bit of vomit on his
face
chin.
is a little green.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you zoom in. But yeah, no, that totally happened. The singing part, and I like definitely had a crush on Mason at that point. And I remember I went back to my dorm, and I was talking to my RA because I didn't have any friends yet. And I was like, I think like this guy might have a crush on me too, but I don't know. And she was like, well, what is confusing? And I was like, he had a bunch of guys come serenade me. And she was like, I think that's like pretty clear. And I was like, I don't think so. I don't think it's clear. Like I was... Yeah.
Maybe it was like serenading his friends. You know?
You don't understand. I get this a lot.
Yeah. And I was like, you know what's funny though is that's actually kind of true. The way I was asked to homecoming the year prior was somebody had serenaded me with a group of male.
I was like second.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn.
And 2 guys threw up before they sang to her.
The entire group barfed.
Yeah, take that.
Wow. That's great.
Mel, we had just before calling you, we had shared quarantine low points. For example, I got delivered an empty plastic bag from Amazon that I was charged $40 for.
It was really nice.
Is there any like fun quarantine low point stories that you have? If not, that's totally fine. I was just wondering if you had one.
Like a quarantine low point.
Or
honestly,
like,
quarantine has been pretty rad so far.
Wow, must be nice.
I do have like a similar story, which is one time I had Postmates deliver my Chipotle, and they gave me an empty cup, and it was supposed to have Diet Coke in it. Oh, yeah. And I was like, didn't you notice you were handing me an empty cup? Like I had a conversation with the guy, and I was like, why would I order this? I obviously wanted something in it. Like it was just very strange.
Yeah. Love it. Well, I'm glad to hear that your quarantine's been going pretty well.
Maybe it's like Korean barbecue where they want you to like fill your own drink cup just for the experience, you know?
He's like, it's free refills. And I'm like, from what?
I have to go back to Chipotle.
Are you going to bring me the fountain machine?
No, I have to pay for each thing I put in it. It's not free.
That's great.
You don't understand. The delivery's more than the burrito.
That's awesome. But yeah, I mean, that I don't remember how things started. Well, obviously, because I wasn't a part of your guys' relationship after that. We were just bystanders.
I don't think actually that's kind of a lie, Danny. You were very much a part of the relationship.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I would say that Danny was if you had to pick like a circle of central figures to our relationship, Danny would definitely make the list.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
I'm very curious to know what you got, like what stood out about me at that time in terms of
what stood out about
sorry,
you?
That's not the right
Why
way to
did
say
you
it. Yeah.
choose Danny?
His chin.
I guess, yeah. No, I mean, I want to know, I guess, what happened specifically after the brothergram, the fabled brothergram with that we added a lot of detail to. Because I mean, obviously, you guys ended up getting to boyfriend girlfriend somehow, but I actually don't remember a lot of it because it was 2000,
and you were pretty drunk.
Yeah,
that whole year, dude.
It was a rough year.
Yeah.
I'm also interested, but only from Mel's side.
Ooh.
Okay, yeah. So this actually is a good transition. So now it sounds like we're going to start getting into more like detail-oriented questions. And we've agreed that the best way to do it is that Mel has full control of the steering wheel.
So you can say whatever you want.
I'm about to go on gag order when y'all ask her questions, and I will just write down if I have anything to say. But if I don't agree, that's too bad for me. So
all you can do is smile and nod.
all right, y'all. Here goes. Mason shuts up.
Sounds like our relationship.
I like the way it started.
All right. So, first of all, no, I actually don't know where to start.
How'd you guys start dating? Like what you were saying.
How did you
I was
start
gonna say,
dating?
do you want me to talk about the transition from Brother Graham to dating?
Yeah.
So as was mentioned, Mason was my teacher. So
Oh God.
We knew that.
had that teacher-student relationship, and then just super random, like after that happened, I made the team, and after I made the improv team, we had a movie night at y'all's house, and it was like with a bunch of our friends. And we watched Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. I don't know why I remember that detail specifically, but we did. And then I just kind of like hung back and was like, just kind of like, oh, I'm going to take forever to put on my shoes and see if he wants to have this conversation. And, because I guess before that, so Mason got stuck in Isla Vista for Thanksgiving. And
I think I remember this.
I had texted him and I was like, oh, like I'm actually in the area. I'll just come hang out with you. And I was certainly not in the area. I was like an hour away.
Did you? Yeah, you drove all the way back.
Yeah. I drove back and we had like a friend date hang that ended with just like a weirdly long hug. And I remember he also
a very charged hug.
He was like, come over at like 2:00. And so I was there at 2 and I was pulling up at 1:50. And he's like, actually, I just hopped in the shower. Could we meet like 30 minutes later? And I was already like pulling up.
Uh-oh.
And so I was like, I guess I'll just do circles for 40 minutes, which I did.
Wow.
But then,
Brutal.
so we had that hangout. And so then we were having like the Kiss Kiss Bang Bang meetup. And then we kind of like had a talk where it was kind of, he said, I'm like really glad that we like have this thing. And I was like, I'm so oblivious when it comes to dudes. I was like, what? A friendship? Like, I don't know what you mean.
Yeah.
And then he was like, no, like the fact that we like each other. And I was like, oh, cool, sick. Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah, totally.
And
Yeah,
I love that.
yeah. And then the next day I came over and he goes, guys, this is my girlfriend, Mel.
Wait, what?
And
What?
Yeah. And I was like, oh.
So you didn't even have a conversation about it. It's just kind of, yeah.
No.
Oh.
Wait, was the conversation just,
and
I'm
then-
so glad that we're attracted to each other and you're my girlfriend now?
Yeah.
Mason's got game. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I just didn't correct him, and then I didn't correct him for like 3 years.
But you guys never had a full-on conversation. How long did it take to make it Facebook official? Because that was always kind of like...
sorry, circling back a little bit.
Okay,
for
yeah.
all Mason knows, you guys are still dating.
Yeah, that's very true.
Uh-oh.
That's very true.
You guys might want to talk about
so
that.
we both have some explaining to do.
Yeah. Yeah, you guys haven't like physically seen each other in quite a while.
Can I?
Mason,
Nope. Okay.
Not yet.
Mason
Just
can't
let me
come
know
in
when
yet.
I can.
Yeah. He's been like aggressively
I'm
typing
taking notes.
things. Yeah.
Okay, I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hold on, I'm going to disappear for a second.
He's gonna mute. Yeah, or not. He's gonna freeze because he's got like a little thing going on his iPad.
So, what is your favorite memory of Mason?
Ooh.
Or is it like really hard because
memory.
there's so little?
Yeah. No, to be honest, there's a lot. So I'm parsing through. I think we used to have this like date that we would go on, and we did it a couple times where we would go get sandwiches from the catering company and then go to the zoo and eat by the elephants.
Oh, okay.
And it was just like a very nice date. And then I guess my other one is I was actually there when you guys filmed your second impersonation cover.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
People do not know that, but there is laughter at the end, and that is me.
Yeah.
So that's another
I remember
one.
that. Yeah, I remember you also used to like you would write out some of the cards for us because your handwriting was nicer, and then you also
Come back, Mel.
Yeah,
It's so hard to read their handwriting.
Yeah, and then you also I remember there was like you just started writing random things. Like I remember I recovered this a long time later. I think it was like when I was moving out of the Beef Farm house. Or something maybe later than that. But you'd written down like an impersonation of like a really specific event. It was like when your ex-girlfriend, like reaches out, but like you're currently dating her like friend, and like I don't know. It was like I don't know. It was something really long where I guess we're supposed to hold that up for I don't know. I remember that very fondly. It was that was a process. Those
it was
were
like 3 pages like taped together that like folded out.
You have to read the whole thing before you do it.
Yeah.
I think, because Mel, you kind of lived with us for a little bit during college. We all lived together, the 3 of us and then 3 other guys, but everyone at one point had a significant other except for me.
Come on, man. I wouldn't say that.
I had women of interest, but I don't know. Does that sound weirder?
You're an
like
FBI agent.
Yeah. Whoa, no talking.
Yeah. Oh. Right. Do you remember?
Another memory I have from that house is we heard you getting into an argument with an ex of yours. And Mason and I like went up to the door to go listen. And we heard that it did not end well, and so Mason was like, should I go out there? And I was like, yeah. And then we both went out and had like a nice little sweet heart-to-heart moment with you.
Were we arguing in the living room?
I think it had started in your room and then you had moved out, so not to
it might have been I think it might have been with which we can cut that, but yeah. I think it was
Yeah, because he threw up in my trash can.
What was your honest opinion of our living space in college?
Why would you want to ask her questions that burn us?
I don't know. I mean, like,
fine. Let's do it.
I'm
Yeah,
sure we have the same opinion of it. Yeah.
It was truly disgusting. Like, so uninhabitable. I remember when y'all were moving out, we went to go vacuum, and we went to go vacuum the hallway, and we moved a piece of artwork that was on the ground, and the dust had formed in the corner like 4 inches high. And I said, I asked Mason, I said, do you know when the last time this was vacuumed was? And he says, I don't know if it ever has been.
Yeah. I mean, it just accumulated 3 years of grossness.
It's been that way for 70 years.
Yep.
Because
it was like that when we moved in.
Yeah. Daniel, do you have anything? Or I'm trying. Oh, there's the question.
Oh, okay. I got a good one. I got a
yours.
juicy
Okay,
one. Okay.
Ooh.
Okay.
Ooh.
So, what is the most embarrassing thing, like story or like thing that you can tell me about Mason?
Okay.
Yes.
So, okay. So when we first started dating, I went into his room just to talk. And I looked at his bed, and he was sleeping on a flat sheet, not the sheet that has the elastic on it. And it was crumpled up. And I was like, oh, is it laundry day? And he goes, what do you mean? And I was like, why don't you have the right sheet on your bed? And he,
Yeah.
and I was like, why don't you have the right sheet on your bed? And he was like, oh, it's so weird. When I went and bought sheets, they didn't give me one of those. And I just kind of like stared at him, and I was like, what do you mean they didn't give you one of those? And he was like, yeah, so weird. They just gave me like 2 of the flat sheets. Didn't give me one with the elastic. And I was like, where did you buy sheets? Like the dump? And he was like, no, at Kmart. And I was like, well, give me the bag that they came in. And he had just never taken it out, and it was definitely in there. And he slept on a flat sheet for like half a year and just was like, how weird.
So what I learned today is Mason is really bad at telling if things are in bags or not in bags.
Oh, that's completely true.
Yeah.
That's totally true. That's still true of me.
Yeah.
So Mel, interestingly, I'll do some behind the scenes stuff. You did text me last night that you intended to tell a different embarrassing story. And
Yes.
You have the option right now to do that or not. We can cut this part out if you don't want to, but I'll let you fire away because I know you were excited.
Okay, I'll fire away just like you did. This story, the reason I waited or I hesitated is because I wasn't actually there. So yeah. And so I was told about it through Mason secondhand. But when y'all had graduated and Mason was living with Danny and Danny's family, he had been peeing in the downstairs half bath and had gone to fart and sharted all over the wall.
Yes. I remember this.
And
Wait, like while he was peeing?
What? No.
yeah.
I'm confused.
He went to go pee and then he sharted and he wasn't quite there yet.
Please.
No, can't say anything yet. We're not done here.
Yeah.
Not okay. Keep going.
Wait, so were his pants up or down at that point?
You know, Mason, I feel like that's a detail only you can tell. The way
I think his pants
had
were
envisioned
down.
It was pants were down. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was on my parents' floor.
Oh god. It's like a murder scene with poop splatter instead of blood work.
Yeah.
Please.
Yeah, you can say
Provide
something.
details,
Yeah,
at
you
least.
can. Sure.
All right, so I will not deny that happened.
Well, because it
Mel,
happened.
did you say that I shat over the walls?
Yep, that's what happened.
Okay, that's a lie. We had clean walls, all right?
My parents' house too. Yeah. My mom listens to these podcasts.
All right, so what? Oh, this is terrible. She listens.
I mean, she knows that it happens.
The Padillas took me in when I moved to LA, which was a pretty rough time in my life for a lot of reasons. And I just want to say that I'm extremely thankful for that overwhelming gesture of charity that they let me live there under their roof. And I'm so sorry that I completely disrespected that generosity by literally shitting on the house floor, which I did. But I will say, so interestingly, Danny, I believe, had also sharted a couple days earlier.
This isn't my. Yes.
So I think that we ate something funny, and neither of us wanted to admit it, and it was just. And I have a personal theory that the number one ingredient in sharding is hubris.
It's like thinking you're too good for sharding.
Yeah, because it's starting. It's you feel it, and you're like, no, I would never.
It could never happen to me.
Do that. I'm not 4. I'm 23. And then as I was thinking, I'm 23, I shut it on the floor. So,
oh man.
Basically, I mean, it's a pretty simple story. I was wrong. I thought I understood my body, but I didn't. And so I sprinted right after. I was like, oh no.
Wait, you decided to start sprinting? Like you were like, I need some exercise now.
Gotta run this off. I went as fast as I could to the the cabinet under their sink, which was near that bathroom, and I found a cleaning solution that is specifically geared toward things
for sharding.
Yeah.
My parents had that on hand.
Did you just shart on a generous family's floor?
well, they did have you as a son, so I imagine they would have it on hand.
Wow.
Sick burn. Yeah. So anyway, I had this. I had this cleaning solution. I was vigorously scrubbing the bath mat in their bathroom for like half an hour, and Danny was like, "Where is Mason?" He said he had to go pee because we were working on something together. Yeah. And so that's that story. Thanks, Mel.
Yeah. Yeah, hell yeah. I got roped into it.
Is anybody else hungry for some reason?
No. I have a question for Mel.
Ooh. Is
that okay? All right, cool. Give me a sec. Okay, Okay, so this is actually a question about Script Not Found and not about how shitty and gross I am.
Aww.
Okay.
But unless that's your answer to this question. But so we film episodes of a live improv comedy show, and I was wondering if there's anything about our Script Not Found shows that you wish were different.
Ooh.
Like him not being
you
in
cut
it
out
anymore.
on that last part. What would you say?
Is there anything about Script Not Found shows that you wish were better or different in some way? It's okay if it passed, because I have another question if you want.
No, I mean, my answer is that, like, I really like everyone that has been on the show, and I wish that, like, everybody could just stay in LA and not leave.
Yeah,
So,
we've had a lot of cast members, like, move on to different places.
And,
Sad
like, I think
times.
we've lost some just, like, really awesome improvisers because of life. And so, like, my reason is just like an impetulant child. Like, I wish people didn't grow up.
Yeah.
I wish people would just stay.
Yeah.
So that's my reason, I guess.
Cool.
I have another question only barely related to that one. So in Script Not Found, we make videos for the internet, and obviously that's like my main job. In your time, like knowing me personally, and in your time seeing me do stuff online, are there any differences between like my online persona and what you think the real me is like?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Or like, what do you think online people wouldn't know about me just from watching my videos?
Sharts.
And the
think
pooping
you're-
thing, yeah.
I think you're pretty similar. I would say, honestly, your personality online, I think, aligns a lot with who you are just like publicly in a friend group. But then I think just one-on-one and with people that you're like particularly comfortable with, I think you're a lot more introspective and a lot, I don't want to say calmer because that makes it sound like you're spastic, which you're not, but like you're just like I think that you're a much deeper thinker and like way more willing. I said this to you last night, like I think that you're a lifelong ponderer. And I think that you are just like a little bit more reserved when you're just one-on-one than you are. Like, I think that if people came up to you in person, they would get like the person that you are online. But I think when you're really comfortable with someone, you're a lot more quiet.
Cool. Thank you. I think that was very nice. Thank you.
Can I ask for your honest opinion of our videos that we make?
Yeah.
Silence.
So I think that you guys have something that not a lot of people have, which is you guys are like genuinely friends first, and I think that shows in your videos.
Nice.
Which I think is really cool. You definitely have videos that I like more than others.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll always be like an OG fan of your music stuff, Danny. And like I really like when you do that kind of stuff.
Cool.
I haven't been the most avid viewer of your channol as of late.
That's okay.
That's totally
I
fine.
don't mind.
I do
Yeah.
declare.
I do declare.
Yeah.
Mel, I had one more like genuinely I find this interesting question for you, if you don't mind.
Okay.
And the question is this. Okay, so let's pretend that I'm single and you have the chance to speak like to a person who in the future, that person and I will date. What's something that you would tell that person about me so that they know in advance?
What would you warn them about?
Yeah, is there anything you'd warn them about or anything else?
Ooh.
Yeah, I mean, like, I would probably go with the fact that you don't know if there's something in a bag or not, but I just still can't.
He's bag blind.
Yeah. Or the difference between farts and poop. Yeah.
God.
Although
Does
you
it
threw
have
me
to
out-
be
yeah.
something? Does it have to be something negative, or can I just
No,
say
no,
nice
no.
things? 'Cause
That was
that's
me
what
being-
I want to do.
I meant,
Yeah.
thank you. And I meant to phrase that as like an open-ended question that you can answer any way you want.
I was being juicy.
Just
Okay. I mean, honestly, I would just say, like, first of all, welcome. We're a small
welcome, sister.
Welcome to the club. Yeah.
welcome to the club. As far as I know, I think there's only 3 of us. And you're in for a lot of fun. I think that, he'll become probably your best friend, which is super cool. He's not great at preparing a lot of different foods, but the ones that he is good at preparing, you'll be happy. Like, you'll never have better ramen because you didn't know you were supposed to put peanut butter in it.
Thank you. That's a good ass life hack.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be prepared for the fact that he's not going to want to look at you as you're falling asleep because he's going to want to watch his laptop. And also the fact that he sleeps on a towel every night. It's not weird. It's normal. But overall, you will have a hard time finding someone kinder and more loyal.
Ooh.
Wow.
Mason's a good dog.
This has gone fantastically.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mel. And that genuinely means a lot. Thank you. The peanut butter ramen thing is real. It's a next time you're making ramen, y'all at home, shut up. We're doing this.
Okay. All right, here.
Add a little bit of soy sauce as the water's boiling, and then at the end, just stir in a little spoon of peanut butter.
Okay.
This works best on the chicken spectrum flavors.
The chicken spectrum.
Like, don't do that with like beef or shrimp.
Or shrimp, yeah.
Yeah. But that's my tip. You've now been enlightened. I will say, this makes me sound so petty, but I will say I've been working on my cooking game a lot.
Oh my gosh,
and
dude.
I think I have grown as a chef, but I really shouldn't be nitpicking a clearly positive set of things that you said about me.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Can I ask a question to both of you?
Yeah.
Do you remember your anniversary day?
Which? Oh, I thought you.
Or sorry,
Which
what was the original day that you two? Well,
what's the original day that Mason was just like, "Hey, this is my girlfriend," and you're like, "What?"
Or what was the day? What was the day in every year you would celebrate?
I remember that.
At the count of 3. No.
I don't know. Was it in December?
That's totally fine. No, that's
That's
totally
fine.
fine. It would be extremely in character of me. It was December 8th, 2013.
Wow, he knows the year.
I said December.
Yeah, I think we didn't quite hear. I don't think we heard you say December. We only heard you say we don't or I don't know. So yeah, that's our bad. Yeah. So December.
No, I didn't know the 8th though. Yeah.
Okay. That's fine. It's not relevant anymore.
Yeah. So I will say that it would be very like me to not remember that. So I definitely don't think it's weird that you don't.
I just wanted to throw in quiz questions.
I only had 2 notes, right? So on the going straight from saying like, oh yeah, it's cool that we like each other to this is my girlfriend. Like it wasn't a 1-2 step quite like that. We like.
Nah, I mean her story seems pretty airtight.
We talked a lot more. We kissed even. Like it wasn't literally like a straight curveball out of nowhere.
Mel, do you casually kiss your friends?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done that before.
And then I will say the improv teacher thing is pretty real, and it made me very. I think Mel, you knew this. Like even during our relationship, I was very embarrassed to fall into that like improv teacher dating a former student stereotype.
Yes, and you were very adamant in making sure that people understood that I got on the team because I was good at improv, not because we kissed once.
But actually, though, to as a testament to that, I think Mel is probably the most naturally gifted improviser I've ever seen in my entire life.
Yeah, definitely.
Because also you went into no problem. You went into that also with having no improv experience, right? Or roughly no improv experience, at least.
I had none. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I didn't want to like in case you did, yeah. But I knew that you were insanely inexperienced, but somehow just really, really, really good at it. And to this day, I think you probably are. I don't want to pick favorites, but Mel's probably one of my favorites.
The best.
No, yeah.
I don't actually know if you know this, Mel, but even to this day, when people ask me like, who's the like, if you had to pick like someone who's like truly impressed you when you've taught them or performed with them, I always mention you first because like you're extremely talented and just like I love the choices you make on as a comedian and as like a performer.
Thank you. That's very nice.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, it's true. So yeah, we just wanted to speak to more of the like, yeah, you're on the team because you're good.
Yeah. Well, actually, I want to make an improv team, Danny, for YouTube, and I want to comprise it of everyone who's kissed me once.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be a weird team.
If we were filming this as a sketch, I imagine like a line of women walking in and then like 3 dudes, and we're all just like, what?
Oh, interesting. Brian?
Michelle Obama steps out. She's like, can I get a suggestion?
That's great.
Mel, thank you so much for coming on. I was wondering, like, are there any, this is another question I had for you. This is kind of random, but are there any like projects or things you're excited about coming up that you want to tell people about? Or are there any like ideas that you would just like to pitch, whether they're serious ones or not?
Yeah. So I'd like to take this opportunity to have every question I was asked turned around and asked to you guys. So if we could just do another 45 minutes. Me.
Yeah.
That would be pretty ideal. I guess I just want to know all of the same things.
Less embarrassing stories about Mason.
But in terms of plugging things, we have a couple shows on the air right now that I think are pretty good. So if you want to watch Zoe's Extraordinary Playlist, I've been working with that team for like a year now on NBC.
Awesome.
And then I know this is an audio platform, but since there's a visual component, I'm going to like show off my little lemon earring.
I like that.
My best friend Emily Grack, he makes earrings. And if you want to support a small business woman-led small business, she makes this jewelry. You can find it on Instagram. It's called Seasonally Crafted. So
nice.
Awesome.
That's really awesome.
Is it weird that I want to pierce my ears so I can have a reason to buy them?
All right, so Daniel's going to go pierce his ears after this.
Yeah.
Quarantine style. So, I just wanted to say thank you so much for coming on, Mel. She said a lot of really nice things about me that I wasn't even sure I deserved, but I really appreciate.
Definitely didn't deserve.
And I definitely want to reflect like more nice things back at you than we have time to say. I will say, if you've been listening to this podcast as a viewer, I'm sure you can tell that she is an absolute delight to talk to and spend time with. She's very thoughtful. And it was a really a pleasure to spend all those years with you as well. So it's really like good feelings all around.
That's awesome.
So thank you so much for spending the time with us today.
Yeah.
We echo that sentiment, Daniel and I.
We normally say something weird to our viewers and then just start saying bye. So is there anything you'd like us to, Mel, lead us. We'll follow you. How are we saying bye today?
Bye 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 bye
We'll slowly fade it out.